What's up and welcome back, treasure hunters. So today I'm going to go over a question that I ask myself all the time while I'm thrifting. Should I buy it or should I leave it behind? This is important, especially if you make multiple purchases at thrift stores multiple times a week, because if you're buying the wrong stuff, then you're wasting money on things you can't sell. So this is how I tackle that question. So of course, when I say should you buy something or should you leave it behind, it is all in a sense of, are you going to resell it? I mean, if you like something and it's a price that you don't mind paying, of course, pick it up. But if you want to resell it and make a profit, that's when you really have to start to think about some other variables that come into play. And one of the first things that you should look at and could be noticeable is the condition of the item you're buying. So if I'm looking through different pieces of pottery, glass, paintings, whatever it might be, even shoes, even, vintage t-shirts, or even designer brand clothes. Condition needs to be nice enough that you would purchase it yourself. What I mean there is if you're looking at a vase, it's signed on the bottom, you even know who the artist is. Everything looks great about the vase, but there's a huge chip in the top. It's pretty noticeable. Most likely you should leave that behind, because somebody that is going to spend, a couple $100s on a vase is not going to want a big flaw in it. And that's with anything. It could be with pottery. It could be with a sculpture. If something's missing a major piece, an arm, or, a big chip in the face, or whatever it might be, people that are going to spend their money on something are going to want something that they can show off that looks good. So anytime, condition comes into play, you really have to judge whether or not that flaw is taking away from the overall presence of the item. Same with shoes. Of course, somebody that you might see a nice pair of Jordans or, a pair of Nikes that you think you can resell. But if they're all beat up, the sole is really worn, that really takes a lot of value away. And it's more difficult to sell, and also you get a lot less money. Now, one thing to also consider is the age of the item. Now, if you're looking at something where you're like, wow, this is a really old piece of pottery or something, but it has a crack down, the side, you could still get away with picking that up for a good price, because people expect an antique to have some wear. And it could be furniture, it could be, even a painting that has some paint loss or something. People expect that, and that's okay, and they will still buy that type of stuff. But someone that is buying, a modern sculpture or a piece of pottery, glass, shoes, or whatever it might be, it needs to be in condition that is nice enough that you would buy it yourself. Next thing to consider is the market demand of the item you're buying. Now, if you're buying stuff like, paintings that are one of a kind, or sculptures or handmade items, folk art, market demand can be very difficult to judge, because there's not a set market for each piece. I mean, yeah, there might be for the style and stuff, but still might speak to someone, and that might initiate them to, purchase the piece. But what I'm referring to more is items that are vintage, but there are multiples. So like if you're looking for vintage Pyrex, or like cookware like that, or if you're looking for electronics or cameras or whatever it might be, you just want to make sure that the item is being sold regularly on eBay or whatever other avenue you're using to sell it. So, if you're looking through collector's plates, let's say, and you see a collector's plate and there might be a bunch listed for $24.99 and it's only $2 at the thrift store, but you're not seeing any that are actually sold, the market demand is super low for that. And that kind of leads into the next thing I was going to talk about is saturation of the market or competition. So if there is an abundance of the item that you're looking at purchasing and it's on eBay and stuff and things aren't being sold, the only way you're going to get the sale is to drop the price lower than everyone else's. And this usually is not a factor of being a successful reseller unless you can sell in volume. So most resellers, the best things they can find are the unique things or, the things that they know that they can flip quickly and make a really good profit margin. So things that you're planning on purchasing, it's always a good idea to get a feel for what's selling, especially if you're concentrating on different niches. So what's selling at the time, what's trendy, what is in style, those questions are always good to have in the back of your mind so you can identify things that you can sell quickly and for a nice profit. And this kind of also spills into another thing you want to consider is seasonality. What I mean by that is thrift stores will always have sections of items that are related to the next major holiday. I know at my Goodwill, there is a whole aisle that still has a bunch of Christmas stuff. Just because of the amount of things they receive, they need to try to lessen that inventory year round. If it's, approaching August and, the Halloween stuff is out, but, now they're starting to sell the Halloween stuff out and you're starting to see Christmas stuff, of course, that stuff is going to sell really well during the end of October through November and even the beginning of December. But after Christmas, you're going to have a really difficult time selling Christmas stuff. So just keep that in mind, the seasonality of things and what you can get for a really good price and then resell, and your turnover will be a lot better too because people are looking for that stuff and ready to buy. Now, one thing I know I've talked about in the past, especially seeing that I concentrate a lot on purchasing artwork and everything else, is you need to consider the size of the item you're buying and how you're going to store it. And the reason why you want to consider the size is because if you're shipping the item out, you need to have confidence that you can ship it safely. And you also need to have confidence that you can store it where it's not going to get damaged. So for example, with artwork, I need to know that I can store a painting where it's not going to get moldy from moisture. It's not going to get damaged from other things leaning on it. But at the same time, I sell most of my items through Etsy, where I offer free shipping. So if I find a really nice painting but it's really large, even if I can get it for $10, but I could possibly resell it for $100, you gotta remember that the shipping cost has to be built into that price. And I know this seems a little bit obvious, but I've purchased a lot of large paintings and I still have some of them just because large paintings aren't an easy sell. And I'm going to have to hold those for a while just because most people that are buying artwork for their home may not have a giant space they need to fill. And same goes for like furniture. So if you find a really nice piece of furniture, you have to remember that you can either sell it on buy, sell, trade, or certain marketplaces that might have some sort of freight shipping or white glove shipping or something. Otherwise, you're going to need to figure out how to ship that on your own. And the final point that I'm going to go over is the most important, and that is profit margin. What I mean by that is you have to consider what you're investing in the item and how much you can get back in profit. So for instance, I have a lot of inventory. So I have a lot of stuff that I haven't even posted yet. and I just don't have time to post it all. And I keep buying stuff and, I'm posting that and whatever else. So I don't buy anything that I can't at least make $50 from. That just is something that I didn't do when I first started, but I do it now because it's not worth my time to post something that even if I can get it for $3 and sell it for, 15, that's 5 times my investment, but still at the end of the day, it's $15 where I have a lot of other stuff I can list that I can make more from. When you're first starting though, that still is a good idea to, just build the amount of items in your store. So that's going to change for everyone. But that also does not include everything I purchase. Again, I sell most of my stuff on Etsy, so I offer free shipping. That means for artwork, for me, seeing that artwork is more expensive to ship and more difficult to ship, I won't pick up a piece of artwork unless I can sell it for at least $100. Now, on top of all of that, I need to get at least a 5X on everything I sell. What I mean by that is if there's something that is $15, say a piece of glass or, like a big glass vase, and it's $15, and it seems like the going rate for that is around $50. That profit margin doesn't meet my requirements. It might meet other people's requirements, but just not mine. And that's something you need to figure out as you go. But if I could sell for 75, sure, I'll pick that up. Now with the artwork, it's a little bit different. If I can get something at auction for, $200, but I know I could sell it for $600, I will still obviously make that purchase because the profit that I can make from that is $400. And that's a lot more than if I can just, make $15 or $20 from one sale. So it's something you really have to tweak and look at as you go and as you build your inventory and as you get familiar with different things that you want to sell, depending on what marketplaces you're using and everything else. To start, that's how I view profit margin, and it's very important that you come up with some sort of rules, because if you don't, you're going to end up with a lot of stuff that you can't sell. And I know that from experience because I've donated back a lot of things that I got when I first started thrifting because I didn't want to leave any profits behind. But after when it comes down to it, you got to clean it up, take photos, post it, then you need to sell it, wrap it up, make sure it's safe, ship it. That takes time. And if you're only making, $10 for a sale of something that cost you $3, it just doesn't really equate to like the time you're spending putting into the whole process. So I just briefly touched on the way I think when I'm trying to decide whether or not I should purchase something or leave it behind. I have gone a lot deeper into this though. I am almost finished writing my first, I guess you could call it an ebook or, like a PDF guide to thrifting. So if you're interested in that, I will have a link. I'm going to give it away for free for a bit, just to get some feedback and see if I skipped over anything or if anything's unclear. And you guys will be the first ones to check it out. So that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you tuning in and watching, and keep a lookout for my next video. I got a couple things coming up real soon. Got some more thrift store finds. I hope this helped you out. If you have any questions, drop them below, and I will see you all in the next video. And if you get out there treasure hunting, I wish you the best of luck.